Welcome to Life Under Construction, the podcast about growth, leadership, and rebuilding the parts of life and business that matter most. I'm Ingrid, alongside your co-host Brooke. We have honest conversations about entrepreneurship, personal evolution, and the life lessons we learn along the way, sometimes the hard way. Whether you're navigating change, building something new, or redefining success in your own terms, we're so glad you're here. Now let's get into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Life Under Construction. We are so excited for you guys to join us. I'm Ingrid Ricks.
And I am Brooke Jennings.
And today we are joined with one of my good friends, Kristi Isais. Again, that still gives me some pause on how to say her last name. But we're getting better at it. We are getting better
every single day.
So we are well into the new year, and today we wanted to talk a little bit more about what has been under construction since the new year. I feel like I've had a lot going on. I know you ladies have had a lot going on, so let's get after it.
Yes. So for me, new year, new hair.
Yeah.
I love it.
By the way, I do love it.
Decided to change my look a little bit because here's something that I feel like has not happened for me yet. I feel like I haven't lived my hottest year. And so I've decided that this year's going to be that year. And it starts with getting rid of the dark hair. So that's definitely Brooke's look under construction. Come at me December this year. Let's see what we're working with.
Okay, hang on. Let's take a pause right there, because Brooke and I were texting actually the other day. And when ladies go through a hair transformation, it's like there has been something that you're wanting to change. You're just trying to do something different. So I love the look. What prompted that big change?
Well, I, as we know, started my own company at the end of last year and feeling really good about that. But as I shared in our first episode, I have just struggled so much with just self insecurities with the way that I look, and it's ridiculous. And I thought, you know what? I tell everyone all the time, if you're not happy with something, change it. And so that's what I'm doing. I think it's okay to make yourself a priority. It's okay to put a little focus on you and think, okay, I don't feel my best. What am I not loving? And then just putting a little focus on it. I think a lot of times we're scared to do that because we feel like people are going to think we're conceited, or, it's ego driven. But it's like, girlfriend just wants to be 30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling it right now.
You know what? I love that, because a lot of the times, especially with mothers, we tend to put our needs off a lot of the times. Mothers, business owners, just because you're busy, you're putting everybody else as a priority. But I love that you're putting yourself first. That is something that I think a lot of women should work on.
I was telling someone the other day, I said, 2026 can be the best year of your life. All you have to do is decide it's going to be. Because every action that we take was first mothered by a decision. Every action you take, you decided something first. And so I've decided I am no longer going to have these, body issues and these insecurities anymore. I don't want it. And so I made the decision, and now I'm taking action to, little steps to feel really good about myself. Kristi.
So what do I currently have under construction? Ooh, y'all know I always have something cooking in the kitchen. I feel like there's a lot of things that changed last year for me in many different facets of my life. And I feel like this year I'm continuing that thread, but in a more refined way, I guess is the best way to describe it. Getting really clear and very targeted on my intentions and being very conscious of, like you said, Brooke, it's the decision and then the action, right? It's the intention and then the aligned action. So that for me, I've just gotten really clear about what I desire, what I deserve, and then what kind of a person do I need to be in order to achieve that, right? And Ingrid and I have had this conversation. It's like, how does that person show up every day? What do they think? What do they eat? Who do they hang out with? How do they dress, right? What are their daily routines? And so to be that person, you have to continue to show up in that same energetic vibration and that same energy in order to achieve that level that you know of your highest and best self.
It's not fake it till you make it. It's fake it until you become it.
Yeah, 100%. It's very much so in that with New Year's resolutions, a lot of folks just make the mistake of doing something because they think they're supposed to, or jumping into the gym or jumping into all of this stuff, and it's just not in alignment with what they truly want out of life. I would tell everybody to challenge themselves to get quiet a little bit and think about what it really is that you want for you that is in alignment for you right now.
I love that. A lot of times, especially at the beginning of a year, people ask themselves, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? But that's the wrong question. And you hit the nail on the head. The first question you should ask yourself is, what do I want? And then the second question is, why do I want that? Because that's when you'll uncover if this is something you really want or something that you believe you should want based on the people around you or your job or your family. And then once you've figured out, okay, what do I want? Why do I want it? Then you can ask yourself, okay, now how do I get there? And now your actions are coming from a place of purpose. Action without purpose is what is going to lead us to burnout. I love the idea of starting this off this year of knowing, okay, what is my purpose? And then when you're doing those actions, you're not going to quit. And that's why I think it's like the third week of January's National Quitters Day, because people started with just the behaviors and they didn't look deeper into the root.
100%. And I would even challenge that a little bit to say, not what I want, but who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Right? It's like the being part of it, because it needs to integrate with your identity. Ingrid, how about you? What is under construction?
Oh gosh, I feel like you guys all have your what's together in comparison. But I think the standard that most people want, right? Like, I definitely want to get a lot healthier. You both know we've talked about this previously, that I'm really trying to hone in on being a little bit healthier. But funny enough, so after the New Year's, I think a lot of people do a lot of purging as well. So we were cleaning out our garage, and in our garage, we have like our treadmill, our Peloton, our rower. And I got this wild hair right after the New Year. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put my treadmill up for sale. So I did that, and it sold within like 24 hours. Okay. And I'm like, okay, so sold my treadmill. And primarily it was because, I now suffer from plantar fasciitis and I need to figure something else out to get back into health. So that's going to hold me accountable to do something different and not continue to injure myself by keeping on with the treadmill. But piggybacking on what you guys were talking about, for me, it's definitely the health situation. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of people quit their New Year's resolution is because they try to either do something really big, or it has to be all in and it has to be everything, right? So they make all of these goals or resolutions and they say, I'm going to work out 7 days a week and I'm going to run 5 miles and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, right? And when that happens, you do, Brooke, to your point, you get burnt out because it's not a sustainable practice that you've been doing in the past. So for me, what I wanted to do is do something a little bit more attainable for the lifestyle that I live today, right? I'm a busy mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I have now 3 kids, right, that I have to tend to. So realistically for me, as much as I would want to work out 5 days a week, I just can't make that happen. So 3 days a week for me is working out at least 30 minutes a day. And I wanted to get back into reading. I've been reading every morning, and I've exchanged looking at my phone first thing in the morning by reading at least, 20 minutes and then doing my morning routine. So those are my 2 primary goals for the year to maintain. I feel like that's something that I can do.
That's incredible.
Ones. Yeah, those are totally good ones. I need to get into that habit of getting back into reading. I've been horrible with making time.
Need to get back into reading more nonfiction. I am such a fiction reader. I love it. I don't watch TV or movies anymore, because when you start reading fiction books, they describe what the characters are thinking. And now when I watch a show, I'm like, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they got going on. And
I didn't even
so,
think about that. That's a really good,
I'm like, what's going through their mind? Because usually I'm reading their thoughts.
Well, that's the thing. It's more often
Yeah.
than not, movies are always, or books are so much better than the movies, than the movie version. I don't know if you guys have read, like, I love Nicholas Sparks books. And
Yes.
one of the books that I've
Yeah.
read is obviously, I think a lot of people have The Notebook. But when you watch the movie,
Yeah.
it's just so different. And I'm just like, that's not how it went. So, but yeah, like, I love that.
Yeah. So, which I do read a lot of nonfiction, but nothing compared to fiction. My Goodreads, I think it said I read 92 fiction books last year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Like, I just love them. I love them. We could literally have a podcast just of me talking about books and the tea and what's happening and what I'm reading because I like get so that's my drama. That's my reality TV.
That's
I wake
great,
up
though.
every day. I wake up every day upset I don't have a dragon because I read so much fantasy with dragons. Oh, bless it. But I do have a goal similar to yours, Ingrid. It's to walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It's very doable, right? Because I'm never going to be someone who's going to like do CrossFit or run a marathon. Well, I might run a marathon at some point, but that's only if someone tells me I can't. If you tell me I can't, then I'll have to like prove you wrong.
I don't know, Brooke. I don't know if you can,
You like teed her up for that so quick.
right?
You did it, Ingrid. I would actually, if y'all two wanted to run a marathon, I would rally for you.
Let's go,
Figure it
girl.
out.
That is all you had to say. Let's go.
That is not my cup of tea. I am like, give me my Pilates reformer, some hot sauna, yoga, and we are good. Running is
Listen.
not my thing.
Oh,
I would re-injure my feet for you because I just want you to experience it. You know, there is definitely a feeling that you get of accomplishment when you run a marathon. It's something that's so unexplainable that I feel like you guys have to experience it once in your life. And Kristi, I know it's not your cup of tea, but I'm going to challenge you because I know you like a good challenge and I know you can do it.
That kind of challenge, though, I don't know. I don't know.
Kristi wouldn't even need to train. She's already in such good shape. She could just show
No,
up day of and like be.
But my endurance is horrible. Like back in my younger years when I did track, I was always the sprinter. I like all the quick stuff. Like get me in, get me out. But you asked me to run a mile or 2 miles.
Listen,
I don't know how to like.
You're talking to the girl that said, I hate running. Okay.
Yeah,
I just hear
I do
excuses
not.
right now.
Okay, Kristi, here's what we have to do. You have to tie something you don't love with something you love. Okay. That's actually how I got into books because I fly a lot for work and I don't love flying. So I made it enjoyable by saying, okay, you can read fiction in the air, right? And I would only allow myself to read it in the air. Well, so what you'll have to tell me your thing. So for my thing, it's like, okay, I'll only allow myself to listen to a fiction book while running. So all other times it has to be like podcast or something that's pouring into me or teaching me something, but that's like a guilty little thing that I can do. What would be your thing? Like your little guilty pleasure, something you could partner with running to make it more enjoyable.
I don't know.
She's like, I got nothing.
I don't think I have anything. Like, I mean, if I was like, oh, I can trade, I cannot trade while I'm running. Like, I can't do
You
that.
can educate yourself on trading.
You could listen to some trading. It's so funny the things you're into. I'm like, it's horrible.
Well, I'm like, okay, I am totally good with walking and like incline walking with weights and like speed walking. But you asked me to run 5 miles, y'all.
People have walked the marathon.
No
People
way.
have. Okay. So, you know what got me through running the New York City Marathon without training?
Tell me.
Was that I was seeing plenty of these. First of all, I'm going to categorize them as amazing old people because they were like my grandmas and my grandpas, and they were there. And I'm sure you guys have seen them at the gym. They're just there.
Yep.
Looking like they're running, but they're actually like fast walking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they can do it, I sure as heck can do it. And for me, it wasn't really even about the time. It was me just getting to the final destination. And the other thing that got me through it thank God for him, because now we're married. My husband, you know, took, I don't know how many trains or whatever around town to meet me at certain destinations. And I just told myself, I have to get to that destination so that I can see him. And I have to get to that destination so I can see him. So it's little milestones. So if I thought about, I have to run 26 miles, I was like, there's no way that I can do that. But when you break it down to, okay, I just have to get here. And when you get there, it's like your adrenaline is going so much because there's so many people cheering you on. There's so much to see that you don't even realize. By the time I was done running the marathon, I was like, I don't even know how I did that, but I got through it and it was great.
I just had like a flashback from Forrest Gump where he's like, I just kept running. Like I can just see Ingrid like, I don't know where I was going, but I just keep running.
That's right.
Gosh.
I don't know, y'all. I'm always very open-minded. That is one thing that I'm just not something that I ever have a desire to do.
Okay, we won't pressure you. I don't want to pressure anyone to do something they don't want to do.
How about I am on the sidelines cheering y'all on, being like, you are amazing. Keep going.
I just need to know I'm running towards like a powdered donut. Like,
Listen,
I just need someone at the end.
People
Someone sweet.
legitimately will feed you throughout the entire course. Okay.
That's crazy.
There's so many people out there. You get licorice, you get donuts, you get pizza, you get beer, you get like bananas, you
So
get
fun.
all the things.
Okay, here's what we need to do. We need to apply to the New York City Marathon and just let go and let God. Like, if we get chosen, it was a sign we're meant to do it. If we don't, it wasn't our time, and then I can be really okay with that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna do
Kristi,
it
you
for
don't
you,
have to do
Brooke.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna just
okay.
I'm gonna cheer the two of you on. You go, girls.
Wait, isn't this so funny that this conversation started because I said I would never run a marathon? It just goes to show how easily convincible I am of anything.
It's
Don't let
a
the wrong person
challenge.
get a hold of me. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, accountability. So now getting back to our goals and resolutions, how do you guys keep yourself accountable to that? Because if you don't speak it to existence and you don't tell other people, it's kind of like this little secret. You're like, well, if I don't do it, who's really going to know?
Very true.
So for me, I have my goals right there on my wall. I have business and I have personal. So I have 17 business goals and I have 10 personal goals. And me and my husband do goal sessions together every single month. So in December, we did kind of my 2026 goals. And then at the end of this month, we'll like kind of accountability, like, okay, what did you accomplish? Because some of them are, big goals, like one, and then, some of them are smaller, but all of them have a deadline, which I think is really important. You can't just make a goal. You have to give yourself a deadline. And then once you have that deadline, you track backwards of, okay, if I want to have this book written by this date, and I know it's going to be 14 chapters because I've already outlined the chapters, how many do I need to write each month to get there to meet that time frame? And so I'm so goal focused because the first year I ever set true goals, my whole life just changed. And so many people never set goals because they think of goals as that quarterly meetup that your company makes you do, where you have to look at your key performance indicators. But it's not that. It's recognizing that you as a human being are so incredibly powerful. Most people in this world are walking around in a completely disassociated trance. They're always at the effect of everything around them.
Yeah.
And if you are one of the few that are awake and recognize that you can truly have anything in this world you want, you just have to do the things other people aren't willing to do. Things that are not even hard. It's such low effort, high impact actions can absolutely change your life. So I am not someone who needs motivation. I think I have to be disciplined. And that's what I just work on is being disciplined.
I think that's the key thing, being disciplined. I think one of the things that tends to happen as well is when people set goals, they think sometimes goals is just a number. but it's not necessarily a number, but I love the idea of writing it down so you can back into what your action plan needs to be, because you need to break things down into small actions to achieve whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. And I love that you and your husband do your monthly goal sessions. So my husband actually do some kind of a variation to that, where we have life dinners once a month. And it is an intentional conversation where we talk about all things, right? So our goals, what went right this month, what went wrong this month, what we're doing for our children, literally everything. We have an agenda that we follow. And we wanted a safe place to have even difficult conversations, right? For my husband and I, this is both our second marriage. And I've learned in my first marriage that I wanted to have better communication and a safe space to have conversation that I didn't feel comfortable talking about in my previous, right?
Yeah.
So now we've created that to where we could do our check-ins to say, hey, is there anything that I did to make you feel XYZ, right? Or is there anything that I did that made you feel really good? So anyway, that's a little bit of a variation of what we do when we do our monthly goals and check-ins. So yeah.
I love that so
Ew,
much
like
because
that.
whatever you focus on, you move towards. And so
Yeah.
if you're focused on how I can make this relationship better, how I can make our household better, how I can reach this goal, you're just magnetizing it to you. And so I
Yeah.
love that, Ingrid. I think
Yeah.
that's something everyone who's married should consider doing. It's awesome.
Definitely. Definitely. I think for me too, a large part of, I think, just human nature is, let's say you fall off the bandwagon, right? Or you don't stay with that routine and, you go on a vacation or something throws you off. Human nature is kind of like, "Ugh, forget it. I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. I failed." Because it happens to me, and it's like, no, give yourself grace, get back up, dust yourself off. It's fine. We're human beings. We're moms, we're wives. Like, things happen. And we have to be able to be graceful with everything that's going on in our lives and everything that we're juggling. Sometimes you're not going to get it right all the time, and that's okay. But making sure that you get back up is the key. I also have implemented time blocking, just more recently. I started doing it last year a little bit, but I'm being a lot more intentional and refining things this year to basically go utilize my calendar, since I use that for everything, and making sure that I am blocking out blank space, right? Where I'm not having to make sure that I keep myself busy, because that's another one of my refinements, is being okay with not being busy, being okay with taking a moment to have basically white noise space, right? Where you can decompress and kind of just be with yourself for a minute. But I have gotten to the point where I start with I am. And everything is an I am statement. And it's, I am the healthiest version of myself. I have the healthiest marriage I thought was even capable of having. I am the best mother to my daughter. She is my best friend. All of these I am statements, because our bodies integrate with I am so much. And that's why it's so important to make sure anytime you say I am, you are very cognizant of what comes behind that, because your body integrates with it, and believes it to be true. This is what I know I am on a highest version of myself.
Okay, so I love that. We're getting
Beautiful.
back into the woo-woo, because I know we talked about that in our previous episodes, right? So the woo-woos.
Exactly where I wanted to take this.
So one thing is that, and I know that I've texted Brooke about this, so I've gotten into my woo-woos as well, right? So in my morning routine, I started with my I am statements as well, and the whole manifesting. And admittedly, in the beginning, it feels really weird. And I think that's why people are like, okay, that's weird. What is she doing? But there is something to be said for the psychological piece of it, because what you think, what you believe is what you will act on. And until you get through the uncomfortable weirdness of saying your I am statements or your manifestation, you're not going to be a believer. So I just encourage those to push through it.
I was just going to even challenge that a little bit, because, when everybody's setting all of these New Year's resolutions or intentions for the year, right? A lot of it is focused on doing. It's a lot focused on how I'm going to, I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to, it's all about doing. The problem with that, we can hold ourselves accountable. We can time block. We can do all of the things. But if we don't psychologically and spiritually believe that we are that and that we're worthy of receiving that, it will not integrate. It will not stick. So it's important to do the actions in addition to the psychological and or spiritual nature of it, because that's the full integration. It's like you need your body to believe it. And if you're not working on the belief systems, none of the physical manifestation part of it is going to stay true. Now, I will say in the beginning of certain things, sometimes it does feel weird and it does feel wonky, but the more that you go through that repetition process, that's how you're creating those new neural pathways to allow your body to believe what you're saying is true. And that's just reps. That's practice, repetition.
Whatever you believe will always become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because unconsciously, whatever you believe, you are going to make true. So you could say all day, I have a six pack. I have a six pack. But if deep down you don't believe that's possible for you, your brain is going to block you from doing the necessary behaviors needed to make that true.
100%.
To get to the woo-woo, I got to share a story, and I'll let Ingrid share what she wants to share. But we have a mutual friend who is a little psychic, and I'm not going to say who she is because people know her, and I don't want to blast her secret psychic life. But she did, a reading for me, and that was really fun. But she also told Ingrid and I, like, hey, this night there's a full moon. It's the strongest needed for manifesting. You need to go outside with a candle, be very whimsical, and just say your goals out loud as if they've already happened. And I was like, what kind of candle we talking? Like, do I need a specific candle? Is a Yankee candle okay? Like, tell me, because I want to do it right. And so this is hilarious. So that night, I forgot because me and my kids and my husband, we were doing Christmas stuff, all the things, get home late. I like to lay with my girls at night to get them to bed, even though they're 8 and 9. They certainly don't need that, but I just love their cuddles. After they get to sleep, I go in my bed, go to sleep. At 2 a.m., my dog wakes me up, which I think it was like the universe nudging my dog, like, get that girl out of that bed. She didn't manifest. And so I go to let him out the back door. And in our house, we have 2 20-foot wide, 10-foot tall sliders. So the whole back of my house is just pretty much glass. And I had all the lights off, and I walk out into my great room area, and it was so bright from the moon. So here it is, 2 a.m. I look like this. I got like an eye, like half open. My hair's a mess. And I'm like, no, I didn't manifest. Must get a candle. Must get a candle. So I get my candle, 2 a.m. outside in my pajamas, half awake, and I'm just like saying these goals out loud if they've already happened. I forgot temporarily. We have cameras pointing at her backyard. So my husband the next day was like, should I be concerned? He was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you know what? Just let me live.
Don't judge me. Don't
let me be. Just let me be.
But yes, I have to say the things and then believe they're true, which I do. And I think the cool thing about manifesting is because I manifested under the moon with a candle, like she said to do, it makes me believe it's for sure going to happen.
It will happen. We know it's going to happen. And I have a lot of questions about that. But first and foremost, did you get any complaints by your HOA or any of your neighbors that there was some creeper lady in the backyard with a candle walking around at 2 a.m.? That night was also the night that you were supposed to release all the negative energy that was holding you back. So that night, and she said, do it when you have water pouring on your head, on your body.
I didn't do that part. Did you?
Girl, I did. I did. I went in my shower, I turned it on, and I just let it flow. And I was like, you are out. This is out. Everything is out. Yep. Right?
I love that.
Y'all are speaking my language. I do this stuff all the time. All the time.
That. If you're listening and you don't do this, no judgment from us. Try the woo-woo.
For me, that's so powerful to make sure that you stay in contact and connection with that higher version of yourself. And that takes a lot of consciousness, a lot of checking in, right? Because sometimes when our mind's telling us everything's okay, our body's telling us things are not. And sometimes when our body's like, oh, everything's fine, your mind's like, no, it's not.
Mhm.
So it's like making sure you're in constant communication with both parts of it so that you are operating in as highest and best as you can. I love that y'all are getting into that because it keeps me in a state of peace and balance in my life. That's like my faith, is that connectedness to that higher state of consciousness and that higher being. I really truly feel in my own personal beliefs that it's a universal thing. You know, God, Allah, all of these things, they're all the same. It's like a state of consciousness. And again, that's just my own personal beliefs. I love anybody that has different beliefs. It's just that's what works for me.
I think that's what's so beautiful about life is that we're all so different. And I think anytime a person can break free of the programming of the world, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because the reason we do the things we do every day is because we were told that was quote unquote normal. But what is
Yes.
normal? Like we should be barefoot outside killing buffalo. You
Yeah.
know, like I should not have this much stress about sales and numbers and all the things we carry
Yes.
every day. And so anytime you can just release yourself of that and just go back to center, I think it's really cool. And there is nothing a person could tell me that I would think was too crazy or too insane because I'm just like, oh my goodness, like tell me more. How did you come to believe that? That's fascinating. I want to talk about your journey. That's what life is
Yeah.
about, truly. I love
Yeah.
talking to people who are different from me, who think different, because it opens my mind and it gives me perspective to learn and grow. I
Yeah.
love that.
That is a huge thing that you're saying,
Yeah.
Brooke. I think a lot of times when people meet other people that are different or have different beliefs, or a lot of us, because it's not the norm or what society has taught us to be okay or to be
Mhm.
accepted, that's where the whole judgment piece comes into place, right?
Yeah.
For
Yep.
me, I think you guys know me well enough now. Like I love everybody. I usually am more about, hey, come on in, let's all be friends. Let me get to know you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing about life is that we're not all alike, right? And that
Yeah.
everybody being has something different to share and to offer. And that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I get excited when I start, like you said, Brooke, like learning and just getting into other people's belief systems and patterns. I just think it's fascinating, but it's really, I feel like our responsibility to really connect and find out what's ringing true to us as a human being, but also as a spirit, like as a soul. What
Yeah.
rings true to you? What do you identify with the most? And it's funny, my daughter, who's 13, we talked to her very much like an adult, right? And she went to this school retreat and she said something to me that I will never forget it because we really try to push her to be her own individual and to not be like everybody else. And she goes, "Mom, I swear everybody there is a carbon copy of each other." She's like, "Everybody was the same." She goes, "They all dress the same, act the same, laugh the same." She still struggles from time to time where you want acceptance and you want these things, but she's starting to realize that being true to you is a power. It's not, you don't want to go the opposite direction and be like everybody else.
We're going to wrap this up in a nice little bow by giving some folks a little bit of a tip of how we can continue to, to hold ourselves accountable to our goals for the year. So, Kristi, I'm going to go to you first. What's your tip for maintaining goals for the rest of the year?
I would say to be intentional about what goals you're setting, making sure that they are your goals and not because you were told it's supposed to be a particular way or a particular thing, making sure your goals are true to you and, making sure that you create an action plan with potential time blocking to make sure that you stay accountable for the things that you truly want to achieve out of life.
I love that. I would say my tip is if you don't get it perfect and you fall off the wagon, it is okay. Having that support system, an accountability partner, or somebody that you can just say, "Hey, you know what? I didn't do this great today," or "I missed a workout today and I was supposed to do 3 workouts." You need somebody to be able to encourage you and pick you back up and say, "Hey, it's
Mhm.
okay. Get back on the wagon next week. It's not a big deal." right?
Yep.
So stick with it by having somebody that can be there to support you, give you words of encouragement, even on those days where you're like, I'm giving up.
So important.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for sticking with us today. Even through all of the woo-woos, we really appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, do all the things, share on social media, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, y'all.